is going on, everyone? We are here. We are live. It is Friday Night Live. Welcome to everyone that's already here. We're going to have a show. I just came over from doing first ever Patreon only live stream. So we're going to do the monthly Patreon only live stream. I was having all kinds of figuring it out. People couldn't get in or comment at first. We made it work. So thank you to all of my patrons again, and thanks for those that showed up to hang out. Tonight, we are going to be continuing on a very important topic that I did yesterday about some facsimile copies of some books that sold on MYSLABS as first prints. They were UF facsimiles. They sold one sold for a 9.6 sold for $2,900. And was it what? And then there was a 9.0. I don't remember the grades. One of them sold for $2,900. Another one sold for $1,000. Both from the same seller. So we got communication from MYSLABS, communication from the seller themselves. We got information about the slabs and how CGC roll in all of this. But of course, before we get into that main topic of discussion, a couple of things, some unboxings that we're going to do today live. And I do want to take some time, of course, to say what's up to everyone that is hanging out. We got Lowbrow. We got Kyle. What's going on? Porthos, Dale. Dale, I'm so glad Dale is here. That was you left that comment before we went live. Viper, what's going on? X11, Shadow Rat, Lowbrow, Fight the Good Fight. What's going on? We got Trev, the shipping guru. Tony's here. Peter, Marvel Goddess is here. Let's see. Dale, yeah, it looks like Dale is still here. Mojo's hanging out. What's going on, Mojo? We got Johnny. What's going on, Johnny? Paul's hanging out. JG. Yo, JG, I think I still need to hit you up, man. Guys, I come through. I do come through, even if it takes a while. Odd Scurro. What's going on? BB Danny. What's going on, Danny? Thank you for hanging out. Ghost Junk. Beautiful people, folks. Okay, if you aren't subscribed to my channel yet, I would be truly humbled and appreciative. So I make content almost every single day, 7 days a week. We are running 10,000 subscriber contest still right now. I'm going to have one. Oh, that's not the book. That's mine. This book right here, the first appearance of Cloak and Dagger in a 9.6 signature CGC series, signed by Ed Hannigan. You're going to have one more chance to win this book. And it's going to be on a video coming this week. In the next few days. One more chance to win this book by being subbed, hitting the notification bell, commenting on that video, liking that video. Stay tuned for it, guys. Click the notification bell so you'll see when that video posts. And then if not next week, then the week after on Friday Night Live, I'm going to be giving another grand prize away live. So stay tuned for that, folks. I do want to remind or let everyone know, give you guys an update on my co-host, my other half of Comic Book Canon, Jeff, who was down for the count, sick, most likely with COVID. He is definitely feeling better, and he is good enough to have a Comic Book Canon show in 2 days from now. So I hope to see all of you guys there on Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you're not subbed to us over on Comic Book Canon, we have our weekly live shows there every Sunday. Link is below, everyone. Crispy, what's going on, Crispy? Sean, what's up, Sean? All right, guys, again, before we get into the topic of discussion, I want to unbox some stuff for you guys. I do want to remind you all that I am on the Whatnot app. We had a good bargain sale last week. I'm not sure when the next one's going to be, but it'll probably be another sale. You know, nice, cheap $1 to $2 starting bid books. And then I am trying to get my inventory ready because I'm going to have a couple of really big sales. Is going to be in like an all sale, we're going to have some 10-cent, 12-cent Bronze Age Batman. And then the other one is going to be a Spider-Man theme one, and that one's going to be massive. So, but I'm a one-man team on top of working as an educator, on top of doing my channel 7 days a week. The way I handle my inventory is very specific. And this is something that I purchased off of Whatnot. But I rebag and board all of my books. I grade all of my books, no matter what condition it's in. I will press and clean some of my bigger books. And I make sure that when I run my sales, you guys can go sting. You can see exactly, you can see pictures, you can see the grade and all of that. So I don't just put up a book and let you guys start bidding on it live, not knowing the grade or anything like that. All right, guys, this is an awesome one. I forgot who I got this off of. It looks like you could definitely use a press. I got it for pretty cheap. It was only like a few bucks. This is Detective Comics number 608, first appearance of Anarchy. Anarchy, there was rumor that Anarchy might show up in the Matt Reeves Batman universe. I don't know, but I believe I didn't have this because I collected Batman and Detective Comics during this time. So very happy to have this in my collection. All right. Our thing of comic books. And oh, this is from Seeker's Eye off of Whatnot. Seeker's Eye. I'm a follow. I think they're some pretty stand-up sellers. They do amazing packaging. You got the Gemini mailer and some bubble wrap around the actual comics. Seeker's Eye. And I'd be honest with you guys, if I thought a seller wasn't, reputable or like, I wouldn't be dropping their names. Very well done. Oh, wow. I won these. That's right. I forgot. Wow. This is a low grade, but it was dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. These are in Mylar. All right. All right, we got some Silver Age Doctor Strange, folks. Doctor Strange 174, Volume 1. Obviously, that took over, changed to Doctor Strange from Strange Tales. They got it at a 3.0. Not bad. I mean, there's two big chips up there. So, I may have graded this. Those are some decent-sized chips. Two of them. Plus a little hole right there. I probably would have called this a 2.5 just from looking at the cover. But I'm telling you guys, this was like dirt cheap. You could pay like $4 for it. So I'm happy to have this book in my collection because I'm not a stickler for high grades. One more. All right, they got this they got this one at a 3.0. I think they're a bit conservative on grading this at a 3.0. There is a stain there. Uncanny X-Men number 124. Filling a hole in my Uncanny X-Men run. The glare on this is kind of intense right now. There we go. Yeah, pretty conservative with a 3.0 grade on this. Let me see this book real quick. We got one more package to open up too. That's a nice looking book. With those stains, I think they were very conservative. But again, happy to have a few cool books. Action. All right. We got one more thing before we get into the big topic of discussion, folks. Georgie, what's going on? Guys, I got this in the mail from Dale, who is hanging out in the chat right now. I need to be very careful. Oh, by the way, Red Deadly is still on spring break. Okay? So in Hawaii. That's why Psylocke is doing all the work today. I asked Red Deadly if I can join him, but he was like, man, I really need a break from the show. I need a break from you. I'm like, damn, that kind of hurts my feelings. It's funny because Red Deadly was like complaining not too long ago about, he was like, Chris, man, I need more screen time. And now he's like, I need a break from the dude. Can you ever be satisfied? Crazy. But you know, he's the face of the channel, so it's like I got to kind of walk on eggshells around him. He kind of gets what he wants, you know. He gets that star treatment, star-studded treatment. All right, Dale. You guys are going to be amazed at seeing what Dale gifted me. This was a gift that he just sent me. So, Brandon, what's going on, Brandon? Oh, man, this is amazing. Wow, Dale, man. All right, guys. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? So, Dale is a fellow artist like myself, and I love being able to, as an artist, I appreciate, oh, wow, so much the work of other artists. Are you guys ready for this? Look at this. Batman, the Batman. Let me try to, I'm going to, a little bit of light off of, here we go. Look at that. Oh, 197. Thank you. This is a nice black and white with the red, the Batman down there. Very nice work. Very nice work. Look at that. All right, next up. There's a few in here, guys. We got some color cards. These are awesome. Look at this. Look at this. Joker and the Batman. These are freaking amazing. Look. That is sweet. I love the color. Are these Copic? Are these like Dale? What do you use for these? Are these Copic markers? Paul, art is subjective. Put a pen or a pencil to paper, and you do what you do. E-Dub, what's going on? Yes, sir, Copic. Nice. My son does amazing work with Copic, too. I should bring his stuff out one day. I do more realism, you know, like with pencil. I mean, I've done some color work. I've done some color pencil work. My son does more like anime type stuff. It's amazing. All right, guys. These last two are my favorite. And you guys will know why. And I'm just, I love it. I love it. Let's see. Where's the other one? This one is just, all right, guys. Dale has won my heart with a collage. Again, the light is kind of soaking up the black. There we go. Look at that. Wow. Just beautiful. That is freaking awesome. But I absolutely love this one too. Color one. I'm gonna try to frame both of these, but I want this one. I know this is comic book related stuff, but this one's going in the back there, hung up. I absolutely love the freaking color on this, and just how you wrote his name is just so clean and smooth. Look at that. Dale, thank you so much. Jacob, what's going on, Jacob? I really appreciate you, Dale. These are going to stay with me forever. These Tupac ones, I will cherish them with everything else Tupac that I have. And they're definitely going to be put up. But, guys, Marvel Goddess, thank you so much for the super chat, super sticker. Thank you so much. So, because so many of you people, you know, are just, all of you people But Dale, for, gifting all this to me, I'm going to be gifting this out to one of you, subscriber of my channel, so you guys can own some of Dale's original work. I got to share the love. I'm going to keep the Tupac stuff. I'm not giving away the Tupac stuff, but so I will announce what we will do for this. I'm going to think about it. I still need to do my last two 10K giveaways, and then we'll do this. I might make it maybe a Patreon member giveaway, maybe a YouTube channel member giveaway, or maybe I'll make it a giveaway for any subscriber, but I'll give more incentives to my Patreon members and my channel members. Maybe give them an extra entry into a randomized drawing. I will think about it, and I will keep you guys updated. So, thank you, Dale. I appreciate it, man. Guys, hey, Dale, if you want to if you have your art Instagram, drop it in the comments and let people go follow you to, so you can share your art with them as well. All right, Dale, thank you, man. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching me open a couple of books and some amazing artwork from Dale. But we got stuff to talk about, guys, and it is very, very important. This is why I talk about these things, because I'm here to educate. I want to be somebody that utilizes my platform in a way that can better this hobby and better this community. So I'm going to do a quick review of my video yesterday. And for those that didn't watch it, this is going to be helpful for context. MYSLABS.com. MYSLABS had 2 sales that just sold this last week. One was for, I'm actually going to, do I still have them up here? Let's see. I got the links right here. So one of them sold for, it was a 9.8 that sold for $2,900. A 9.8 sold for $2,900. And it was a 9.6 that sold for $1,000. And they were facsimile UF4s slabbed by CGC. I'm going to pull one of them up on screen. You can still see them listed as sold items on MYSLABS. So we're going to pull it up on screen here. Give me just a moment. There we go. So as you guys can see right here, Ultimate Fallout 4, 9.8 CGC, first appearance of Miles Morales. That was what they labeled this book, the seller on MYSLABS. Now, if you look at the label, it does not say facsimile edition, which if you saw my video, I showed you guys an Ultimate Fallout 4 that was graded by CGC that said, it says Ultimate Fallout Facsimile Edition number 4, something like that. So I was saying, well, look, I mean, could this have been, photoshopped or altered? Possibly. The seller could have definitely easily manipulated this, this image to get the facsimile out of there. And I was also wondering, why doesn't it say first appearance of Miles Morales? Well, what I learned, I wasn't aware of. So thank you to those that, left this information in the comments. On the custom labels, it actually has the details of what's in the book, the first appearances and whatnot, on the back of the label. So that's good. That's fine. Nothing wrong there. But this should absolutely say facsimile edition in the title, and it does not. So I made the video saying how this is everything wrong with this. It is fraud. Somebody purchased this book for $2,900. Somebody purchased the 9.6 for $1,000, both by the same seller. So MYSLABS was made aware, and we got communication from MYSLABS that stated, and they stated that they let the buyer know, and the buyer is shipping them back to the seller. The buyer has been refunded, and the seller has been stated to be cooperative and is in contact with CGC and is having CGC take them back and correct the labels. If you look at the barcodes, it does indeed state that CGC graded these as first print Ultimate Fallout Force. So from what it seems, it does not seem like the images were doctored whatsoever. Sag, what's going on? Yeah, thankfully they got they're getting taken care of though. Eggplant, what's going on? Yeah. First appearance of Miles Morales or new Spider-Man Miles Morales removed from Polybag. But if it's a regular label, Eggplant, it's on the front. It's only on the back because it's the custom Miles graphic label. Facsimile does not come in Polybag. No, it does not. But that's not what we're. That's not what. So again, I'm gonna reiterate this. I don't know if it may be lost in translation here. This is obviously a facsimile edition. CGC graded it as a first print. All I'm saying is when I did the initial video yesterday, when I was looking at what went wrong, what's the problem here? I was looking at the label and saying this could have been photoshopped. And I wasn't aware that on the custom labels, all the first print and polybag stuff, if it was indeed a first print, would be on the back of the label for the custom labels. I wasn't aware of that. I am now. Being that it is a facsimile, it should not say any of that. It should simply say facsimile edition in the title. All right. Mark, what's going on, Mark? Okay. So now we got word from MYSLABS. So great part on MYSLABS. And it seems like the seller is cooperating. There is a big issue here that needs to be addressed, though, folks. Now, I'm not going to put blame. It's not about blame or fault, but it is about responsibility. And that's the important thing here. The only person at fault of committing fraud would be the seller. But there is responsibility on CGC if they indeed label this book wrong. There's also responsibility on MYSLABS to vet the process. You know, vet the sellers, vet the listings that come up. I'm glad that they handled it as they did. But I think there could be a lesson learned here to where they could catch these things before there's actually a transaction, right? There's got to be some more due diligence, maybe putting something put into place to try to system. And buyers absolutely need to continue to educate themselves. If you're spending $2,900 on a comic book, you need to make sure you know what you're doing. But I do want to point out one thing, because I shared this in the forums and everything, and there are way too many people who are so quick to victim blame. Oh, buyer beware. They're, a fool in his money. Shame on them. They deserve it. Anybody that drops $3,000 and doesn't know the difference between a facsimile and they deserve it. I'm going to let everyone know right now, for me, that is very immature in humble opinion. And it's also counterproductive. It does nothing. Get off your soapbox. and humble yourself. We need to take an approach to where we can continue to educate collectors. We all were uneducated collectors at some point. Now, I know I was never dropping $3,000 on a book being uneducated, but who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? There's no reason to be snark, and there's no reason to victim blame. I understand we do need to focus on the responsibility of being an educated buyer, but it blows my mind that it's like we culturally accept. It's like we forget, we don't even acknowledge that there's fraud going on. We don't even acknowledge that there is an individual most likely purposely trying to get over on someone. And we just, look, should have known better. They deserved it. Come on, guys. How could we think that this is acceptable? That's what we immediately turn to. You know what that does? It empowers scammers. It empowers these unethical, disgusting filths, if you ask me, that aren't out for comics. They don't care about comic books. These people are probably pulling scams wherever they can pull a scam. When we completely divert from giving any negative attention and accountability on the person scamming and committing fraud, it is a socio-cultural conditioning of acceptance. Like, oh well, you should have known better. We got to stop that. My number one point, we got to stop that. Now, I talked about MYSLABS. I'm not MYSLABS. There's accountability here and responsibility, but look, I think once this happened, they did the best that they could to handle it, which is great. In terms of siding with the buyer and making sure that went smoothly. See, I'm going to talk about the seller last. About CGC. In my video yesterday, I sat there and I said, I'm going to assume that CGC did not make a mistake on these labels. I said, I can't, on two of them, nah, not CGC. I should have known better, right, folks? I should have known. Why did I give CGC so much benefit of the doubt when I was just on Swaggle House's channel last night talking about upside down books, Marvel labels on DC books, and vice versa? CGC screwed up. Now, is CGC to blame for somebody trying to commit fraud? No. But CGC committed such a huge error here that it really opened the door. It opened the door for somebody to commit this extreme act of fraud. There should be, I don't care what anybody says. I'm sorry if you think differently. I respect that we disagree. CGC, the multi-million dollar entity that is ran and operated by a multi-billion dollar entity, should never have an upside down book get past quality control. And they should never have a facsimile labeled as a first print, especially of books of this caliber that command thousands of dollars in the first print. Again, where are the three people that are looking at the book? Where are the people doing the graphics, making the labels? Where are the supervisors eyeing every book as it goes through the process? BS. BS. Ain't three people looking at that book. Ain't no three people looking at that book. Quality control is still a huge problem for CGC, and they need to look at this issue again and say, we got to do better. We have to do better. Now, let's talk about Marvel. It's Marvel's fault. They shouldn't be doing facsimiles. Now, I don't believe that. But I do believe there's some responsibility here for Marvel even. Marvel can do whatever they want. They own the rights to. They want to make a reprint in facsimile form. That's on them. But they have to understand, especially with modern facsimiles that already have a $3.99 cover price, that have a barcode on the cover. When you do a facsimile, you, in my humble opinion, they got to evolve it. They got to do more than just change the Marvel logo from grayish to red. Now, for those that didn't know, if you look at the barcodes of the books, and we'll bring this up real quick here. If you look at the barcode of the facsimile here, here we go. You see where it says 00111. The first three numbers, the first three digits, the 001, for those that don't know, that represents the issue of the book. The second one refers to the cover. If it's the first cover, or say a variant cover, like a cover B, would have a number 2 there. The last number, the last one there, is print. So the first print, cover A of this book, would say 004. Why? Because it's issue 4 of the series. Then it would say 1, and then it would say 1. So it would say 411. If it was the second print where his whole face is revealed, it would say 00412. That's another way that you can tell. It says 001 because it's not really an issue 4. It's the number 1 of a facsimile copy, right? And I absolutely agree right here. 100%. They should put the word facsimile in the barcode. It won't detract from the cover. Hello, McFly, Marvel. Just like they used to put the reprint in the little top figure box on the Star Wars #1. The little blue reprint. That's all it takes. Facsimile printed in the barcode, under the barcode lines. Easy fix. You know that guy? You know the guy that does the TikToks, and he's he's like it's like facsimile copy, first print, facsimile copy being sold as first print, right? Facsimile on the barcode. Right? Oh my God. Yeah, seriously, Mark. Satori. Facsimile. Okay, guys, so Marvel needs to learn from this, folks. Marvel, we're not going to put the heat on them. It's not like Marvel's technically doing anything wrong, but Marvel needs to realize that they're riding a thin line and they're opening the door for more fraud to happen. Let's get to the meat of this, though. We're going to get to the meat of this situation. So let's review. We talked about MYSLABS addressing the issue, refunding the customer. So huge kudos to MYSLABS for handling that. We talked about CGC's bonehead error in labeling facsimiles as first prints. We talked about Marvel having to take some responsibility and maybe changing a few things here and there and putting facsimile on the barcode. Now we're going to talk about the seller. We're Comic Toby. What's going on? We're going to talk about the seller. And in order to do this, I am going to bring up a comment that was left by, I don't know who they're an individual that works for MYSLABS. I don't know who they are with the company, so I can't make any assumptions on who they are with the company, but they saw the video. They commented, they addressed the situation. And we're going to find this comment and we're going at what my response was, because I think my response is very, very important to, it's important to not only this specific situation, but it is 100% important to holding these people that think that they can scam and commit fraud accountable. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. I really don't think that people that do this, that purposefully do this, I don't think they are aware of the severity of the legalities involved. This could be, now I'm not going to sit here and say it's so black and white, and that this individual did commit fraud, and that if it was brought to a court of law, that they would be convicted. I can't say that. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge. I don't have all the evidence, but I will say there is a huge possibility that it could come to that. So we're going to, I'm going to bring this up on screen. Awesome, Marshall. Thank you so much. Breaking down that sandwich. Get to the meat. Oh, so in this story, Chris, thank you, man. Thank you so much for the super chat, truly, and for being here and for all of your support. All right, we're going to remove this. And we're going to bring up we're going to bring up this comment. Bear with me, folks. Just give me a minute. We are going to bring up YouTube comment. Here we go. All right, everyone. You should be able to see on your screen. And I hope you guys can read that. It's the green, the big M from Matthew here. He's basically stating, again, another statement from MYSLABS, just stating how they handled it. Let me read to you what he said, though, and then I'm going to read to you my response, okay? The issue has been addressed. We reached out to both buyer and seller to alert them of the situation, and the seller was extremely responsive and handled the situation promptly. Now, let me just play devil's advocate here. If you willfully committed fraud and you got caught, wouldn't you respond? Wouldn't you be responsive? And wouldn't you be pushed to handle the situation promptly? Absolutely, because, you got caught. But let me go on with what he said. The seller has also agreed to send the books in question back to CGC to be correctly reslabbed. That's what he's stating. We don't know if he'll ever do that or if that'll ever happen. I cannot say for sure if he knew anything was off, but judging by his responsive, I'd say it's unlikely. This is where I disagree with this individual that's representing MYSLABS. There is absolutely no way that you can judge his responses and say that it's likely that he wasn't knowingly committing fraud. Why? Because of what I just said. Anybody that commits a crime and gets caught is gonna, deer in headlights. I didn't do it. I'm innocent. I didn't know. Right? We cannot so easily be naive But let me continue. We combed the archive and found another in a lesser grade he had sold. And we reached out to the buyer as well as the seller and handled the situation immediately also. That's the 2 books that the same seller sold. The book should already be en route back to the seller. So, here is my response, folks. I'm going to read the response and then I'm going to give a little more context to it. Let me get some water. I apologize. I'm a little parched because I was live with Swaggle Hoss and Automatic Comics, Como Comics, Newbie, Brian McClay on Swaggle Hoss's channel last night for over 3.5 hours. Here's my response. Thank you, Matthew. I'm going to assume you work for MYSLABS. I appreciate you making a public comment regarding this. I also have statements from MYSLABS regarding this issue that I will be updating my viewers with on tonight's live stream, which I have done. I think for MYSLABS, there is a learning opportunity here to how to avoid these situations or catch these situations before a transaction even occurs. There is also a learning opportunity for CGC because of their errors, and also for Marvel, and I already talked about that with you all here. I am glad that the seller is seemingly being cooperative, but if I was an executive with MYSLABS, and this is just my opinion, I would dig deeper. From the information that I have, I believe this seller knew 100% that these books were facsimiles. I believe he might have received them back from CGC, saw that CGC made errors on the labels, and then he said, oh, look, I'm going to take advantage of this situation. But how would I prove this? In order to prove this, I would reach out to CGC, and when I would ask them to pull up the order information for these barcodes, and I would find out who submitted these books in the first place. If the MYSLABS seller was indeed the same individual that submitted the books to CGC, that's a huge red flag. I'm sure CGC even has the order form on file, which would note if they were submitted as facsimiles or not. And for anybody that's ever submitted books to CGC, when you enter each book, you enter what it is. Uncanny X-Men 124, publishing date, August 1979, grade or value estimated, all that. So did this individual that sent these books to CGC, did they mark them as facsimiles? Did they mark them as first prints? Context matters, but let me continue on here. If this information could be proven, I would ban the seller from my platform. If I was the buyer, I would think about pressing charges, because what the seller did was a federal crime. And sometimes it takes a village to hold these types of people accountable for the sake of the hobby. So, it is my hopes. It is my hopes that MYSLABS does not just refund the seller and forget about this. Or excuse me, refund the buyer and forget about this. I believe it is MYSLABS' responsibility to vet the hell out of this seller. Contact CGC. Get to the bottom of this. If this seller sent these books to CGC, he knew what he was doing. He knew damn well what he was doing. Because if he sent them to CGC, 99% chance he's the one that bought them raw, off the shelves. He knew what he had. He sent them into CGC to get slabbed, and he did either one of two things. One, he provided false information on the CGC submission form, on the order form, and said, let's see if CGC doesn't catch this. Or he entered them properly and still 9.8 of the facsimile sells for $75, $80. So that's still a quick flip for money in your pocket. He either purposely tried to dupe CGC and mark that order form stating that they were first prints, or he sent him in his facsimiles. CGC sent him back with the errors, and he was like, this is an opportunity. Put them up on MYSLABS, knowing that MYSLABS is a decently trusted and reliable marketplace to take advantage of some sellers. Ninth Wonder, what's going on? Oh, look at that. Did you send did you send a message to the seller? Or because I don't think you can, right? You mean you contacted MYSLABS themselves? And that's another problem. I don't want to create hearsay, but if they were aware of this before the transaction happened, something should have happened beforehand. Satori, it's hard for CGC to mess up if it was entered correctly on the CGC order form. I mean, I would agree with you. I was giving them it out yesterday that they didn't mess up, but they did. It's easy to say it's hard for them to mess up, but CGC has done some of the most things, like put a comic book upside down in a case and let it get out of quality control. So I don't know. Bearded One, what's going on? I can't tell you if it's easy, but this is what I know. Or what I'm going to hypothesize again, and I'll say my piece and I'll let you guys jump in too, and I want to get your guys' to this, but I have a real hard, okay, look at this. How long has the facsimile been out? Only a few months. So it's only been a few months. Beginning of the year, late last year. It's hard to believe that this seller bought these books slab and then tried to flip them slab. Unless he bought them as facsimiles already slabbed and tried to sell them as first prints. But again, you got to use your brain on this, guys. It's not, you put the pieces together. If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quack like a duck, it's most likely a duck. I am extremely confident, although I cannot confirm. But I am extremely confident that this seller is the individual that purchased these books brand new, that sent them to CGC to get graded, that then put them up on MYSLABS for sale. I believe that firmly and confidently. And because of that, I have almost no doubt, even though I cannot confirm, I have extremely, very little doubt that there was any possible way that this seller did not know what they were doing. There are too many people putting these books up even raw on Facebook or Facebook Marketplace or eBay and purposefully not stating in these books selling for hundreds of dollars. I believe that this seller knew what they were doing, and if we had the tad little bit of information from CGC, it would confirm it. Now, if it can be confirmed, this seller committed fraud, and if the books were sold and shipped to another state, the seller committed wire fraud. And I don't trust Google with, but let's do a little Google right now just to get an idea. What is the punishment for wire fraud?
According to Schaus Law Group, wire fraud is punishable with up to 20 years in federal prison, a fine, or both.
Up to 20 years in prison. Now, I know it's just a couple comic books, but you got to understand the value of the books is already over felony value in probably every state. Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is why I say, thank you, Joshua. I appreciate it. This is why I say, do these people really understand the repercussions for doing stuff like this? Right, Mark? Exactly. Do these people really understand how serious this stuff is? And you want to know why? One reason why I don't think they do is because we aren't educated. So, Ninth Wonder, you bring up a good point, deniable plausibility and all this stuff, but here's what I have to say to that. Here's what I have to say to that. Even if that was the case, there could be civil charges. There could be civil damages that are so much easier or easily pushed through a lot when a criminal court doesn't want to take the time. But regardless of that, I would argue a couple things. One, wait until they get a good lawyer. Like, put me on the case. Put me on the case and see if a judge throws it out. Because I will bring it to as many courts and as many judges as I could. And I get cocky. I do get a little cocky when talking about this stuff, guys, and I apologize, but that's why I say when I did debate in college, I never lost one case. I never lost one argument. I would do it pro bono. Hell yeah. Hell yes. That's what I'm talking about. So, but we have, the thing is, and that's why I said, I can't sit here and confirm, but regardless what we can confirm or not, regardless if this would, how far this would get into a courtroom, we have to at least understand that they ride the fine line of the possibility of being convicted on federal charges. And I think the reason why nobody talks about it is because normal people don't No, we do not understand these type of laws. We don't understand our rights. We don't understand the laws. We don't understand the laws that are being broken or are possibly being broken. That's why I was the other week about the counterfeit Hulk 181. People were like, this isn't fraud. He said it was a replica. There's a fine line. But when you're dealing with counterfeits, you're not just dealing with the possibility of fraud. You're dealing with copyright laws, which not only could be federal, but there's state penal codes wherever you are, if you're in California to New York to wherever, that could have extreme repercussions, including jail time and heavy fines. You can get charged with the intent to sell a counterfeit item, even if you didn't know it was counterfeit. You can. People don't know this. Serge, what's going on, sir? So we need to put the fire under the feet or under the asses of these people. We need to put, that's why, I'm all about like, look, I'm not sitting here trying to paint MYSLABS as a bad guy in this scenario. They're not, in my opinion, from what I know. But can we hold them accountable to try to evolve to where they can tighten this up? Absolutely. Do I want to hold them accountable to more information? Contact CGC. And if there's enough evidence there that says that this buyer was aware of what they were doing, to ban them, yes. I think that needs to happen. Absolutely. And I think the more that we talk about this, the more that we shed light onto the darkness of it, the more these people that commit these acts of fraud, the more they're going to second guess themselves. Oh man, this is a good opportunity to try to get over on people and get some quick money in my pocket. Oh man, I don't know. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? I don't know. Maybe I'll go to, maybe a court will throw it out if I get caught. Maybe it won't even get far. Deniable plausibility, all these, maybe, but do I want to take that chance? Do I want to take that chance? And right now, they're taking the chance because they can sit there and commit $4,000 worth of fraud and they don't even get a slap on the wrist. The only thing that happens to them is they have to refund the money and they get their comic books back. So now they could go, now that they have their comic books back and they know that MYSLABS caught it, maybe they'll go on Facebook Marketplace. Maybe their local LCS and catch someone walking in. Hey, you want to buy a UF4 number 1 CGC? They're dangerous still. So it doesn't solve the entire problem. That's why I want MYSLABS to dive into this more. That's why I'm here talking about it. I saw, after I did the video yesterday, I saw Reggie Collects later that night, and he talked about it. That's why we all need to be talking about this stuff every time, and not, they deserve it. Oh, they were stupid. They didn't recognize the difference between a red Marvel logo and a gray one. They deserve it. Buyer's fault, victim blame. No, stop. Are you scamming? Are you acting like that because it's a deflection, because you don't want people to get hit to the scam game that you want to benefit from? Especially, what is your interest here? Where does that align? Come on, man. Hold people accountable. Hold people accountable. Satori, who said anything about public domain? I don't know what public domain is, but I'd be interested in hearing what you're referring to. Yeah, it's supposed to be to take it a step further. I agree. All right, folks. So if you guys have any thoughts on this matter, I would love to hear your thoughts. We'll read some comments here. Take a few minutes to do that. But yeah, again, I mean, just we got to be a community, guys. And again, I want to let everyone know too. There's a fine line between holding people accountable and picking up pitchforks, right? Don't go picking up pitchforks and going crazy thinking that you're, being a super trooper of the community and just blackballing somebody. Like, don't go throwing MYSLABS under the bus for this. Like, death to MYSLABS, like that's not productive. MYSLABS is a great platform. They obviously, refunded the seller. Could they do a little more? I would like to see them do a little more. And it's as simple as that. And that's what I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to sit here and say, crucify ads. So don't get carried away. Don't start a gossip train. Do your due diligence in finding facts to matters and speak on them accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Mark D. Blues Clues. Mark D says, I think it sucks that there are scammers in the field, but there are gunmen running the streets that will get more attention from a well, so Mark, you're basically saying that because there's more serious issues going on. I mean, we have multiple, there's multiple types of courts. And you could always push things up to the district courts and all that. That's why we even have civil law. So it's like, imagine, and I know this is extreme, but imagine being back in slavery and being black and saying, well, slavery's legal, so why fight it? No, you fight it, even if it means blood, even if it means sacrificing your life. Couldn't vote. Women couldn't vote in a time where we had a world war. But do you think women cared and said, well, our government and judicial system or whatever, they're dealing with a world war. Do you think they really care about women's rights to vote? I don't give a damn. I'm going to go push for my right to vote anyways. We had a nuclear missile crisis in the 60s. And a war in Vietnam that was nasty and ugly as hell. But black folks still sat up and said, I demand my human and civil rights. Do you think they sat back and said, well, they're dealing with nuclear crisis and Vietnam? You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm not trying, Mark D, I really appreciate what you're saying, but you're just giving me to encourage you all to not think like that. And I know comic books and somebody selling a fraudulent comic has nothing on human rights, women's rights, wars, slavery, all those things. I know that. I know those are huge, but still, the point remains. Don't think like that. I don't care how small of an issue you think it is. Fight for it. Fight for it. And I'll give you an example. My city canceled youth basketball league. I coached youth basketball. And they canceled it. Why did they cancel it? Because one of the gyms, one of them in our whole city, was being renovated. And they said, well, that gym's being renovated. We don't have enough space. We're not going to do a youth league this year. And I went and talked with the head of Public Works and Parks and Rec and all the divisions in the city. And you know what they said to me? You know what they said to me? They said, we have our hands tied with so much going on. They were having a water crisis. Our city was having a water crisis issue. All these things on the bill at City Hall that they were trying to push through. And they sat and said, we have all this going on. We did all we can. You know what I said? Bullshit. Bullshit. So you know what I did? I went to work on the ground running, and I came at them so hard that both the school district, which housed the facilities that the city used, the city ran the league, and they had a contract with the school district to use their gym facilities. It came to a point when whenever I walked into City Hall, whenever I walked into the public works office, and whenever I walked into the district office of the school district, you know what they said? We can't talk to you. And they shut the door in my face. Our heads, our supervisors, the school superintendent said, we cannot speak to you. The city council members, we cannot speak to you. I said, oh, yes, you will. To the point to where I had a meeting sitting down with city council, the school superintendent, and the head of public works. And we all sat at the same table. And even when I got them sitting at the same table, you know what they said to me? We've done all we can. And I said, bullshit. So you know what I did? I petitioned it all the way to City Hall, and we passed it. We passed the reinstatement of the Basketball Youth League unanimously. And you know what I did? I went and coached an amazing season of basketball. That was a great season. I had a great team, man. If there is something worth fighting for, no matter how big or how small, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. There is no room in this hobby for scammers and fraud. And once you get me playing lawyer, it's hard for me to back off. I had the school district deny my special needs son. They kicked him off his IEP. I fought for 2 years. 2 years. It stressed me the hell out. I ended up in the hospital thinking I was having a heart attack, but I think the chest pains was just from anxiety. You know what? I won. My son got back on his IEP. After they denied me over and over and over again. Serge, thank you, Serge. It's funny, I was going to run for city council in 2020, but then COVID happened and it changed things around for me. And, you know, I'm good where I'm at right now, but maybe one day. So, absolutely, Mark. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. No, we didn't win the championship, but my team learned a lot and we did a lot. At that age, it's not just about winning. It's about having fun and it's about getting better, becoming better and learning. So that's what I taught those kids that year for sure. Fat Turdick. Now I know why you love pot. Right on, man. Appreciate you. Oh, Trev, thank you. I seem like a basketball coach. Right on. I'm like a hyped up coach. Yeah, the IEP life, man. It's crazy. It's all politics, man, and it's sad. It's sad what they put these kids through and the families. And that's another thing. If the families don't know, You're next. What's going on? Yes. We just want to have fun. All right, guys. This has been a great topic of discussion. Before we leave tonight, I'm going to 2 minutes to do my real fun segment. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. This is the part of the show, folks, where I just get to sit back and get roasted by you all. No, but here we go. This is the segment where you guys ask me anything you want to ask me. It doesn't have to be comic book related. Ever. Personally, out of this, sure we keep it like PG-13, you know, and don't be disrespectful or rude or anything like that. But let's have at it, guys. Let's have some fun. I'm ready to, and I got to give you the whole truth and nothing but the truth and all of my answers. Is that chain real? Which one? This is just beads. So yes, it's real beads. It's real beads from a vendor in Oakland. I do have this chain as well. And this is just a cheap little chain, but it's my grandma's Christopher medallion. So that's why I wear that. Oh, let's see. Are we having comic book canon this Sunday? Yes, we are having comic book canon this Sunday. Hulk 6 flops. New one? I don't know, Jacob. I'm not familiar with what's going on in Hulk right now, to be honest. Mark B asks, can you give me half your collection? Good try, you know, but I don't think that's going to happen, Mark. Mark D. Let's see. Okay, let's see. X11, Chris, what medallion do you wear around your neck? Oh, yep. I just answered that. Yeah, that's my grandma St. Christopher. You're next. Have you ever bent the brim of a ball cap like you're supposed to? You're next. I'll give you a pass on that one. It's slightly bent, but yeah. Yes, I have. It really depends. Look, guys, and this is serious. It's not even just fashion or anything. Like, I have a really big head. I do. And there's only certain types of hats that fit my head. And keeping sometimes on some hats, because they fit differently, I'll bend them a little bit like this. But some of them, they hurt me if I bend them. Some of them, they hurt if I keep them flat, and I'll have to bend it a little bit. But some of them, if I keep them flat, they don't hurt my head. So it's very strange. But that's the best way I can answer that for you. Would I ever sell a copy of Warlock and Infinity Watch? Yeah. Bearded One. I would. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Michael, are you the new Joker that came out on the new Batman comics lately? I don't know about this. I haven't read Batman in a couple years. Dale, would you trade your collection for a 9.8 issue of Amazing Fantasy 15? I think somebody already asked me this. A 9.8, probably. But any other grade, I would have to really look at the value of my books. I don't know if it would be worth it. I think a 9.8 would absolutely be worth it. I don't even know if a 9.8 exists. I don't know. That would be crazy. I mean, that's a 9.8 Amazing Fantasy 15, if it exists. I don't think it exists, Dale. I don't think one exists. Because if it did, we just got the record-breaking $5 million. What was it? What book sold for the $5 million? Was it the Cap book? It wasn't Cap, was it? Or was that the $3 million? I forget. But if there was a 9.8 Amazing Fantasy 15. I think that book will sell for close to $10 million, in my humble opinion. Superman number 1, 9.8, sold for $5 million. Who is your fan cast for Doctor Doom in the MCU? I don't have one. I don't have one right now. Somebody was saying, dude from Walking Dead, Andrew, the main dude, right? Somebody was saying him. I think he could do a decent job. I guess he was just having meetings with Marvel Studios. But trust in Feige and Sarah Haley Finn. Fat, did you used to create your khakis? Did you used to crease your khakis back in the day? Nah, I was never really on the crease in the khakis. I had a lot of folks that did. My brother did. But I was more, I rock jeans. I mean, I did rock some Dickies, but I was always rocking jeans, man. Jeans and Reebok classics. I got the high top Grant Hills in 96, which I still own. Will Ezra Miller keep his job at Warner Brothers playing the Flash after the arrest he has done that has happened in Hawaii? Tony, I don't know. Honestly, with the mess that Warner Brothers with the DCEU, they might have already been thinking about trying to go a different route. So we might see that happen. Bigger key in 5 years. Venom 9 first Dylan Brock or Black Panther 3 first Tosin. Wow. I think if done right, Tosin has a better chance of being a bigger key. I do. I think the hype on it right now is not valid. But I think it has the potential to be the bigger key in 5 years. Why is FF52 grossly undervalued? I don't know if I wouldn't say it's undervalued. I don't use that word lightly. I think it was undervalued for many years until Chadwick Boseman. Now, I don't think it's undervalued at all. I just think it's going to have constant, steady return on investment for the long term. But, I mean, there could be some undervaluing there because I think we're always going to go back to that first Black superhero in comic books. And it's going to mean something. It's got that intrinsic value. So, but that value that was undervalued, that intrinsic value has been recognized over the last, 5+ years, 6 years since we saw Black Panther show up in the MCU and what Chadwick Boseman did to him, what it means to all of us now. Yes, Superman 1, 10-cent cover. I believe it is from 1940. When was Superman 1? Publication date of the original Superman 1.
According to Encyclopedia Britannica,
of course it brings up Action Comics. Gosh darn it. Yeah, Google, you suck. Don't be a menace to society. Menace to society, or don't be a menace to society while drinking your juice in the hood. Look, man, even though the Hughes brothers are some punks for what they did to Tupac, Menace to Society is a classic. O-Dog is one of my favorite characters of all time. Menace to Society, hands down. Viper GTS, what is my guiltiest pleasure? Wow. Well, I'm going to tell you guys, I was a wild little juvenile delinquent. Did a lot of things back in the day. I don't smoke weed. I don't smoke cigarettes. And I don't drink anymore. It's been 8 years since I had a drink. So it ain't none of that stuff. Just recently, a few years back, I changed my diet. I lost almost 40 pounds. So my guilty pleasure, right? Look, I used to eat cereal for breakfast. I used to eat cereal for dessert like twice a day, and I used 3-4 bowls at a time. And I wasn't like really like, I think overweight, but I was very unhealthy. And you could see it like, because I lost close to 40 pounds and I didn't even realize I could lose that much weight. And I did. And I realized how unhealthy I was. And I cut out cereal. And you know what's funny? I'm going to tell you guys, how food affects your brain, especially sugar. It's a drug. It's real. I have a hard time going in the cereal aisle when I do grocery shopping because it's a trigger. It's a trigger, and it's almost like I want to relapse because I want to buy that crunch or that cinnamon toast crunch, and it hurts. I'm not even joking. This isn't a joke. It's real. It pains me. But I do have a guilty pleasure that I'm able to keep under wraps. And it's two things. One, I always have a bag of fudge M&Ms on my dresser. And half a serving every day. That's like 5 M&Ms. That's all I give myself. And that's my guilty pleasure. And I will always keep a container of chocolate frosting in the refrigerator. And I 1 tablespoon a day. 2 tablespoons is a serving. Those are my guilty pleasures. 1 tablespoon of chocolate frosting and 5 measly fudge M&Ms. There it is. Jenna Jameson or Tara Patrick? Oh my gosh, you guys. You guys are hilarious. I remember when I was a kid, like Jenna Jameson was just so popular. Didn't she have like a TV show or something? But I remember, what's funny is I remember being in art class in high school. And I had a magazine, and no, it wasn't a Playboy magazine or anything like that. She had clothes on. And I drew a picture of her. So that's very interesting. Yeah. Let's see. Any more questions? Oh my goodness, Tony. Top MLB pitchers of all time. Wow. Top MLB pitchers of all time. Are we talking starters? Let me think about this. All right, guys, bear with me here. I'm getting a pencil. That's tough. All right. I got 3. Let's see. I got 4. All right. Here's what I got for you guys. Not in any specific order. Nolan Ryan, Greg Maddux, Christy Satchel Paige. Yes, Satchel Paige. And I could go into a whole bunch of reasons of why, but I'm not. My last pick, and maybe I'm biased, Tony. I could say Babe Ruth, because boy, was he an amazing pitcher before he became an amazing hitter. I'm going to say Madison Bumgarner. I'm going to say Madison Bumgarner simply because, not just because I'm a Giants fan, he has the greatest postseason pitching a career of anybody that I could, of any era, if you ask me. The greatest postseason career of any pitcher, any and from the bullpen. Madison Bumgarner. I'm putting him on there. You guys can call me crazy. Superman was 1939. Mark Lineker. I knew you'd know. Good fight. Thanks for being here tonight. Quentin Pills. Matthew says Quentin Pills was in the late 20s, early 30s. Yeah, I'm so glad to hear that you are still here with us, Matthew, and that, you know, you overcame those demons. Has been something that has been very close to me in my life. It's nearly took people that I love dearly away from me. I've actually lost friends to addiction too, but family. So I hear you, man. I'm glad, and thank you for sharing that with us. Super Mario 3 or Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I'm gonna have to go Super Mario 3. Just because I just love Super Mario so much. All right, guys, I'll get through a few more questions before I call it a night. Honey Nut Cheerios, yes. Wow, Viper. That is good to hear. Oh, yeah, I cut out dairy too, folks. Dairy is just the devil. It is horrible. I have autoimmune issues too, so having gut health really, really matters. Cinnamon Toast Crunch or Captain Crunch? Wow. It depends what weed you're smoking. What type of high are you on? You on that indica or sativa, man? Nah, I'd say switch them up. Switch them up. They're right there, man. Those are like my two favorite. Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Captain Crunch. That's my two favorite. And Honey Nut Cheerios. But you guys, you're hurting me. You're hurting me. I can't talk about this stuff anymore. M&M's or vitamins. I used to trace Black Cat, and oh my goodness. You guys are crazy. Granola cereal with raisins. Vinny! What's going on, Vinny? Oh, Gooden, man. Yeah, Gooden. That's another one. How did I forget about Doc? That's a good one to put on a top 5 for sure. Let's see if we got a few more questions here. I mean, you know, you could put Clemens there for sure too, regardless of the controversy around him. Raleigh. Jim Abbott was a man, wasn't he? What he did? Jeez. Fat, no, I'll answer, man. So, all right, here we go, guys. Full disclosure, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, right? So, I talked about this a little bit one time on a stream I did when I got personal, but we'll talk about it a little bit again here. I was a good kid, man, until I teenager. I got really lost and went down a dark place. I never did hard drugs though. I dropped acid a couple times. I'm incriminating myself. It actually woke me up. I actually dropped acid in and woke the hell up out of my slumber. It took me a minute to really pull myself out of it, but it was a starting point to where I realized like I'm killing myself. But I never did hard drugs, but I was smoking weed and drinking every day. And, you know, I'm not anti-weed. I smoked weed up until I was an adult too, just because it actually helped with like I had stomach issues and things like that. But I wanted to be more productive in society and having kids, and that changed me. But the alcohol was really bad. I would be, you know, I'd have a 40 ounce of OE and, you know, a fifth of Hennessy or E&J and multiple blunts rolled. And before the night was over, I'd be passed out on the curb. I used to go up and climb up to the top. We are familiar with Foster Freeze, but Foster Freeze is a little like diner, like burger joint. I used to go climb up on the roof of Foster Freeze and just pass out. There, I remember one time waking up in the neighbor to Foster Freeze's front yard, not knowing how I got there. And it was bad, man. It was really bad. So I'm glad, and not just abusing substances, but what I was doing, the stuff that I was getting into, what I was doing on the streets and all that stuff. You know, caught a felony case at 15 and was so lucky because I dodged that bullet. And I made changes a lot of people don't have the opportunity to make. And I am forever grateful of having something wake my ass the hell up, you know? Wu-Tang or Death Row? Wu-Tang. I mean, obviously I'm not considering Tupac is a part of Death Row because Tupac was the most famous rapper before he got to Death Row. Tupac was the highest grossing in terms of sales rapper before he went to Death Row. Tupac had the most #1 singles on the Billboard charts than any other rapper before he went to Death Row. So everyone needs to remember that. And then Suge Knight had the nerve to come out and say Death Row made Tupac. Nah, Death Row was already sinking. Dre was leaving. Snoop out. He was going through his murder trial. Suge was when Tupac got to Death Row and dropped All Eyes on, he reignited flame of Death Row. He breathed life, second life back into Death Row. So Tupac was Tupac and is Tupac, regardless of his short time on Death Row. Wu-Tang over Death Row. There's more context that I could add to that, but we'll leave it at that. All right, guys, I'm gonna get to one last question. You guys were triggering me with the cereal, yes. Oh, Crispy, man. I don't know. Burrow, Crispy Burrow looks like the man. But Allen's been doing his thing too. Only the future will tell. But I like Joe. I'm a fan of Joe. I really am. I'm rooting for him. Nas or Jay-Z? Nas, hands down. Hands down. Statute of limitations. Oh my gosh. Otaku Pops, what's going on? Satori knows about Foster Freeze. Oh, that's awesome. That's good to know. That's good to know. Thank you, Mark, for me being where I am now. Yep. Matthew Kelly, Tupac was not a member of the Communist Party. Tupac was the son of a Black Panther, a child of the Panthers, but he was not a member of the Communist Party. I will gladly love to discuss that more with you in depth. Bone. Yeah, man. Boot camp click. Don't get the love that they deserve. I got to network with them and make music with them. So that was a big dream that I was able to do, and a blessing to have the opportunity to work with Boot Camp, Buckshot, Smith & Wesson. Okay. Somebody isn't here to have a good time, it looks like. Maybe man, take a puff or something. Do some meditation. That's right, Michael. Tupac didn't need death row at all. I get the invite. Right on, man. I mean, look, man, I respect L out of Jay-Z, man, and he's a businessman and he's doing his thing. But come on, man. Papa Cam, for sure. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, Matthew, just be careful of what you read on the internet or see on the internet. Pac was deep. I am doing a Tupac live stream still. I'm still going to do a Tupac live stream. Brandon, you still hanging out, Brandon? Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks, Trev. Number one, Turtles, number one. But Secret of the Ooze was fresh, man. I mean, both of those films were, you can't beat them, man. I got the number one movie poster hanging on my wall. So right next to Back to the E.T. and Raiders of the Lost Ark. I still need to get my Pacino and De Niro movie posters up. Right on, X11. All right, guys, we are gonna end it there. I'm cramping. My voice is probably a little shot right now, but really appreciate you guys hanging out. Some good talking points, and we had fun with all the questions, guys. Breaking me down. So, just a reminder, folks, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please take some time to do so. I'm here putting content out every single day of the week. Still got a couple of contests rolling, including this bad boy. So hit the notification bell to check when that last video is coming for your last chance to win that book. I will be live with my co-host Jeff on Comic Books Canon on Sunday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Link is below. I really do hope to see all of you guys there. So with that being said, thank you guys. Be well, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. It's a beautiful world, guys. Let's keep it that way. See you guys on the flip side.